Hey, 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 hey. Welcome to Dating Differently with Demi and Dr. Conti. Hey, Demi.
Hi. Hi, hi, hi.
How are you today?
I'm well. I'm well.
Good, good. Welcome, everybody. We are super excited to be here. We are talking today about an amazing subject, and that topic is stop dating from an old playbook and start dating differently. You know why? Because that version of you, sisters, queens, divorcees, empty nesters, widowers, second time arounders, that version of you no longer exists. You know why? Because that version no longer is going to tolerate too much. That version is no longer going to rush too fast. That version is no longer going to trust too soon. That's why we are starting today differently. What you say about that, Demi?
You know what? I want to add to that too. I know you said cis is, I'm always going to come back because I work with males and female. And I'm going to say the old playbook is not around anymore because when we were in our 20s, it looked different. It looked different. We were surrounded by singles. We had a lot more options available to us. If you think about that, if you're in your 20s, you can date in different age range. The whole landscape looked differently back then.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
the strategy has to change because
Yes.
today it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Once you talked about being an empty nester, you talked about being divorced, you talked about being a widower, we can look back and know that most of the people that we know, they're divorced or
Yeah.
they're the same or they're married. I said divorced, but what I meant is if you're divorced, you understand if you're in a situation like us when you're single, most of the people we know are married. And
Mm-hmm.
so the landscape again looks different. And so we have to act a little different. We have to move a little different.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So what we can say is like everything changes, everything moves, everything is not the same. And so sometimes we came on Wednesday and we were just so fired up about it because I've heard so many women just want to feel like it's the same, and men, and men. Let me say that
Mhm.
my niche is women. My niche is women who are again empty nesters, the ones that I named, second time arounders, divorcees, widowers. That's my niche. Older, ready. However, men are in the same category. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that I can say that the old playbook has taught us is that we focus so quickly as women, and you can tackle it if you want the men part, but we focus so quickly as women on the partner immediately, and we assume exclusivity so quick. We give like loyalty before commitment, and we give girlfriend and wifey benefits without vetting. And so then we ignore all the red flags to be chosen. And Demi, we've said before in the past, we're not dating to be chosen or to convince anybody to choose us. We're dating to gather information and data to decide if we want to choose you.
And
That's the new playbook.
yeah, and I'm so glad you said that because you know what I said on Wednesday. Some of you were here or weren't here, and I want to make sure I say it again because no matter what I say this evening, I'm probably going to step on some toes, and that's okay because as a certified relationship coach, there are some things that will make you uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but my intention is always for you to be successful with your dating journey. And so I'm going to say what I said on Wednesday again. So, have any of you ever prayed for a job? I really want you to look at it like that, and then I'm going to expound. When we do that, do we just sit at home and wait, or do we start applying? Do we start interviewing? Do we start showing up prepared? So this is the analogy I want you to look at it.
Good
Just
analogy.
it really is because when we're out there and we're applying for these jobs and we're interviewing, we're not just interviewing with one company. we're interviewing with numerous.
Mm-hmm.
Once we start on this job, I remember you said this actually on Wednesday, there's usually a 90-day probation period.
That's right.
And
That's
in dating differently, those 90 days that go by, at the 90-day mark, maybe a little bit further over that, that's when you're talking about exclusivity. That's
mm-hmm.
when you're talking about that. But that's when the real work occurs. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you go into your job, a lot of us start then and we really start to see, is this job the same as what the job description was?
That's right.
Are they still doing all of the same things?
That's
And
right.
so that's what we have to start looking at. So again, when I say you're interviewing and you're not just looking for one job, until you're exclusive, you're talking to other people just like they're talking to other people. There's no reason for you to stop. That is what dating differently does. It
Right.
means you don't get hired after one interview. So that means you don't stop talking to people after
That's
one
right.
person that you meet.
Wait a minute. Let me get my yes button. Yes. Yes. Yes, baby.
And I'm also going to say, so you talked about emotional, right? So why are we emotionally committing
Yeah.
after 3 or 4 dates? Think of
Exactly.
it as when you're in an interview process, sometimes we have one interview, sometimes we're on our third, fourth, and
Mm-hmm.
fifth round, but
Mm-hmm.
they haven't made a decision yet. And
Yes.
you shouldn't either.
That's right. That's right.
I'm gonna pause because I know I can keep going into it there.
Okay, that's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Welcome everybody. We see you all coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. Share, share. Let everybody know that we're on. And so, you know what? The
Mhm.
reason we have to change our playbook. The reason is it doesn't work that anymore. For one, we have options. We have different options these days, and sometimes, culture you can change in different cultures, and so culture is different. You got to vet the people. Look, in our era, we didn't have so many situationships.
You're so funny.
We got situationships now, so you can't go out there thinking every Tom, Dick, Harry, Susan, Sarah, and Renee. I'm gonna say that for the guys watching, is your boo. It's not going to be your boo. He may just want a situationship. And that's why we have to, I always say we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth for a reason. You talk less, watch more, and listen more, and watch even more than that. Because we go in the old playbook thinking, oh, he's so fine. He got a 6-pack. He makes 6 figures and he's 6 feet. And baby, this is going to be my husband. And he is a hot mess. He's not emotionally regulated. He may not even want to be in a long-term relationship. He has no clarity. You just flying around on the airplane with no direction and no destination. That's the old playbook. But if you learn to vet, if you learn to pull back and take off those rose-colored glasses and the old way of thinking, because we got that, and I'm gonna ask a question towards the end. Some
Mhm.
of these things are we've got this from our parents and our foreparents and our grandparents. That's how they used to date. That's not what we're doing right now. We're doing dating is gathering data and information. And so instead of saying I'm going out on the first date, you're going out on the first data date. You're going out on the second data date.
Or we're going out on interviews, and that's where I'm going to be tonight. I'm going to think of me as your career counselor for love. And so I'm not going to tell you which job to take, but I'm going to guide you through that interviewing process. And it kind of goes to what you were just saying. At the 90-day period, this is when exclusivity shouldn't come until after you've done this evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
So at that 90 days, that's when we're validating. Does the actions match what's on the resume?
Mm-hmm.
Are they who they say they were? Around that period of time, you're meeting friends, you're meeting family. How do they handle stress?
Mm-hmm.
Is the consistency still there?
Right.
Exclusivity, like you said, really means there's really no noise around you. There's no background options, because at that point, you're not talking to different people. You're giving your full attention to that person. But now we're able to observe clearly.
Yes, yes,
clearly.
yes, yes. So thank you. I want to share what you just said. Tish said, I definitely changed my playbook and it is working wonders. Yes. Let me give you a cheer button, baby. Yes. Because in order to get something different, we got to do something different. We can't say we ready for our new boo and we ready for this and that but we're not changing the playbook and we're doing the same thing and we're sitting. I was watching a podcast uh not too long ago, and this person said, well, not a podcast, it was a live, and this person was being talking on the podcast on a live, and she said, yes, I've learned that, I want something, but I'm not, but I'm gonna just wait and trust God. I'm going, so y'all waiting at home for Mr. Right to come to the door. Because like I said, Milkman don't come to the door no more. He never came to the door in my time, in my lifetime. And the Amazon man probably gonna be too young for many of us. So listen, you have got to do something different. You've got to do something different to get something different. And if you're gonna do something different, you need to do it with a different playbook. And that's what we're talking about today. For those who join on late, we're talking about dating differently and not dating from the same old playbook, because it just doesn't work anymore. And you know who get blindsided the most? Who get blindsided the most is the divorcees, is the widowers, is the empty nesters. Because we're coming out all giddy and ready to date, and oh, it's been a long time, and the kids are gone, and I'm ready. And you go right smack into a hot pool with no vetting techniques, no boundaries, no standards, and just because you're thinking it's the way it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I you know, and that's why we're here and that's what we're talking about. And I
And it's
want
no judgment. I want to say that because we've all been there. No judgment.
right. And so I want to go back to when you really start thinking of it kind of like this interviewing process. I really want you to go back to that. And I want you all to remember, you don't lower your standards because the results aren't immediate. I want to make that point tonight. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like
That's
anything
a good
else.
point.
Wednesday, I want to make sure I go back. We talked about this teaser. Some people are actively really looking for that love of their life. And then some people are passively looking for that. And you have to know where you are. But
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are in that process, you do not ever want to lower your standards because the results aren't immediate. Just like if you're deciding to change careers or change jobs, the amount that you need to keep your household going. And
Mm-hmm.
so, even though you're not happy in the situation you're in, and I'm talking about a job now, I'm not talking about a relationship, and you're looking for a change, you're not going to go out and take half of what you're making now. And that's
Absolutely.
kind of what those standards are like. That's why it's
Yes.
important to have, what are my standards? What are my non negotiables? Because you don't ever want to, again,
Mm-hmm.
just give up or go lower because you think nothing else is out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to just make the last point with this because I've been talking about it like a job. And of course, you have friends, you have family that have gone through this.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, we're in a space and we're like, that's the one I want. I
That's the
want
one.
that job. I want that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it doesn't happen, and we're just devastated. And then we realize that the next time around, right around the corner, there was something that was so much better. That blessing
Mm-hmm.
that it was like, I had taken that other job, I never would have been available to take advantage of this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it because one of the things I talked about on Wednesday, if you weren't on it, last year, I decided to actively do this differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on 22 dates, 22. I'm saying you can call them a date. I'm saying dates. So let me do the quotation marks, dates.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Before I found the person that I thought was worth me getting to know more about,
Mm-hmm.
really. And some people were like, oh my goodness, clutch my pearls. I can't believe that you talked to that many people or met with them or went on a walk or went for a coffee or went for a drink. I did it because it was easy for me having those standards, knowing this one wasn't right for me. And I
Right.
would need to just give this last example because one of the people I met with on his resume, it looked great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was, had all the F's, like we say. He was fit,
Yeah.
fine, financially free, and
Well, we're good on paper.
looked good on paper. The resume looked fantastic and in person, right? But one of the things I always ask, which is some of the coaching techniques that I get, is to get a little deeper. What was, how long ago were you in your last relationship? What's the longest relationship you've ever had? And one of the things he shared with me was he had never been in a relationship longer than 6 months.
Mm,
Oh my gosh.
mm.
That told me the full story.
Full story. In your life, at this time, at this age, this big old age, and you have not had a relationship longer than 6 months, that in your 50s or 60s, that in and of itself is the writing on the wall. And sometimes men, most of the time, your partner, the person, the date that you're meeting and getting data from, will give you exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Again, two eyes, two ears. We have to listen and we have to observe and we have to acknowledge, like, that that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound right. Where you if he going back to your job analogy, what if he had said, I haven't been on a job, I've never been on a job longer than 6 months.
Or let's look at it from a different perspective. Most of us know when we go on interviews today, we always ask, well, what's the turnover rate? How long was the other person here? And if they're telling you that no one ever stays on this job in this position for more than 6 months, I think you need to think about it before you decide to stay on it.
That's right.
So in the situation I talked about, I sent him the text. And again, when you all work with me, I give you these different things that you can text out. And I didn't block his number. And he called me and he was just like, I just don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I have this. And I knew exactly what it meant. I wasn't trying to prove to him that I could stay around longer than 6 months.
And let
So
me say this, when you talk about, and I love it because we do such different things, and
yeah,
it's such a met, it's such a great meeting in the middle place. When you are not able to do what Demi did, when you're in a space where you're like, he's like, well, why? You didn't give me enough opportunity. You didn't give me enough chance. I think what happened? When you're in a place where you're not able to be true to you and you're still wanting to prove to that person or ease, a lot of times we see where my clients are wanting to let them down easy, and
mhm,
there's not a, you don't have to let anybody down easy, because they should be and you should be in a place where you are, as I talked about too Wednesday, you are emotionally ready, you are spiritually ready, you are mentally ready. All of those I have in my downloadables on my site, several readiness checklist to see if you are ready, because you should be able to be okay to walk away. And the best way to tell if a person is healthy is when you send that little text that Demi was talking about and you realize y'all are not in a line. They're good. Okay, well, I appreciate that. And they go on about their business. But if they can't, or if you have a hard time doing it, that says that there's just still some uh, ways that you can strengthen your own boundaries.
yeah, I appreciate that. And you said it, but I want to say it again. These are my standards. This is what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I know someone said, well, maybe he was gathering data. And I know, I don't know if Kanta, you want to speak to that, but if someone tells me they haven't been in a relationship more than 6 months in their entire life and they're almost 60 years old, whatever it is they fantasize, romanticize about, it's this perfect vision of a person that somewhere around that time, and we all know at 90 days, you're just starting to see who that person is. You
Mhm.
6 months deep into it. That means if something doesn't work right or something is done a certain way and you don't like it, it's over. You're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That's
And at some point, it just means, so a lot of times too, we talk about are that readiness. Have you been out of a relationship in a certain amount of time? Have
right.
the person that you're going out with been out of a relationship? If they just got out of divorce, they're probably not going to be ready. And so he may go, as I see Tanya said, that's just like church hopping. he, that's as bad as church hopping, she says. Exactly. So that person is just church hopping. It's just people hopping. It's just person hopping. And so 6 months is long enough to be at a point where you either seen some things before then, or you just have abandonment issues. And so I'm gonna hop off the bandwagon before you hop off the bandwagon.
And let me just add something else because we all know they're out there. The chase. That's what, some people love the chase.
Yes. And
They're
once he
like,
feel he got you or she got you, and you've let your guard down, all right, I'm out of there. It's on to the next chase.
well, and what I was going to add is, I was talking to my friend today, and and my guy, we were talking about it. It's like a cat. He said, have you ever owned a cat? And he knows I never owned any type of animal. Okay, but he said, cats hunt for the thrill of it. They'll
Mm-hmm.
kill a mouse,
Mm-hmm.
they'll kill a lizard, and then they'll just leave it there because once the prey is caught, the excitement fades.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just that. And
Mm-hmm.
that can be for men or women. I also talked about this earlier. I think I was talking to you, and I said, there are some women that just like love bombing. They love all the gifts and all the things and all the calls and all the
Yep.
excitement
Yep.
that you give them up front. And then when you kind of even that tone out, when they say, okay, you got me, and you're not doing anymore, they're not interested anymore.
Yes. 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 Yeah. So that's why you have to observe. And I'm big on saying patience is the weapon that helps reveal any type of when they're trying to not show everything, and coming in, just be patient. Patience is the weapon that reveals all deception. A lot of times we're not patient enough. And I promise you that the leopard can only not show its spots but for so long. And so if you're patient enough, that's why we as adults dating healthy and dating differently, that's why we have to work on our emotional regulations. And so I would love to help you with that so that you date from a confident place and you date from a patient place, not from a desperation or loneliness or falling for the first okie doke. The project guy, or the girl that's a project, or assuming that maturity equals integrity. And as we are older, we start thinking, well, he's older, I'm older, we're mature. We don't got to play the game some more. There are some 50, 60, 70-year-old game players still out here playing the field. And let me say this. We have to be really careful because it's a lot at stake. The reason the African American female right now and of an age of the 40s and over are at the highest risk of receiving HIV. And because we go into things thinking we're older, we passed those young days where you was getting STDs. Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. That's why you not it's a must. It's a must that you vet. And I heard a coach telling someone not too long ago, she shouldn't bet, not she shouldn't bet, but you shouldn't go out with more than one person. And I mean, really having the old playbook. And you should just wait and look and or sit at home and wait and twiddle your thumbs. No, don't be afraid to go out there, meet people, even get online. A lot of people and women, particularly, and I was at the time too, afraid to get online because there is a lot of craziness out there. But if you take my 5-step vetting process that I teach when I'm coaching, that 5-step vetting process, trust me, it filters out all the chaos. So you're dating and gathering information with all the weapons, and you feel good about it. You feel confident about it. You've checked all these steps. Oh, they made it to step 3. They made it 1, 2, 3. Oh, they didn't make it to step 4. Oh, they made it through step
Right.
5. Okay, but now let me be patiently and wait.
Right.
So that way you are presenting and positioning yourself to love intentionally and to receive love from someone who has want to give clarity, want to give intentional, and is choosing you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I know someone asked about the text, but that's some of the things that I help with, just with a structured high touch support system and profile messages, all of those things. And so we all have our information there, and you can go there. But
Yes, it's strolling across the bottom. So you can contact Demi. It's strolling across the bottom at datingwithdemi.network.com. And then you can contact me. Also, it's strolling across the bottom, Dr. Conte at drcontespeaks.com. I will put in the link here how you can also get any of the downloadables. Demi can do the same.
and
And
so
so
I
I
appreciate
appreciate you talking.
you talking about your health, your physical health, because this is the last day or the last couple of days of Healthy Heart Month. And I know that's why we talked about that. One of the questions we had put in is, what's a healthy relationship? So what does what is a healthy relationship to you all? That's a
Mm.
question we're going to put out there to you. Um, and are you ready to really retire that old playbook?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, and start gathering data like dating in the mindset. The new playbook, the new mindset is dating is gathering data. It is dating with observation. It is dating. It's pattern tracking. Okay, so what the mouth says, but what are the actions? If you look at potential, but what are the patterns? It's pattern tracking,
Yeah.
and dating is character assessment. What are their character? What are you looking at? How do they treat life?
Yeah.
Because at this point we're all where we are. So you're probably not gonna meet nobody and change nobody. Trust that. And you shouldn't want to. And if when I talk about the cake all the time, you won't know I'm always talking about cake.
Tell us about the cake. Tell us about the
The
cake.
cake has all the ingredients. It needs to be good. So once you have worked on you and you have all your ingredients and you're feeling good about yourself, why would you go and put some icing on that doesn't enhance the cake? No, sisters, queens, empty nesters, second time arounders, divorcees. No, we don't do that. That's the old playbook. If you're
Yeah.
going to put a covering over you, it needs to be something that enhances the cake. Why you wouldn't put peanut butter? Now the peanut butter doesn't destroy the cake, but it's sure not making it any better. So when we come into people's lives, we want to enhance their lives and we want them to be able to enhance ours. And you definitely don't want to put mud on the cake because it's going to destroy the cake. It's going to destroy you. You work too hard. I've seen so many of my sisters and my queens and my kings, even men, work too hard to get where you are, and you get involved with someone who is just out there playing games, haven't done the work, don't even know what it means to have a healthy relationship. And that was one of the reasons I told Demi we got to do this podcast, because I'm surprised at the amount of people that have never experienced healthy love, and I want to help you find it.
Yeah, we do. We both want to
Yep,
help you find
yes,
it.
we want to help you find it.
So, you
And
know,
let's say this one last thing: if you don't find it, I want to help you be emotionally regulated and okay with that too. Because
yeah,
cake has all the ingredients it needs to be good without icing. Let me just
all
add that
by
to it.
itself, all by itself. Okay, like that. And so, one of the things I thought it was very interesting you talked about, because we do get caught up in this, the chemistry may get you hired.
Mm-hmm.
So I watch these things, and people are like, he sounds good. He enjoys all the same things that I enjoy. She enjoys some of the same tasks that I like to do. We're both physically active. Um, but I'm just not, I don't know. I just don't feel this chemistry with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the character is really what keeps you employed. And one of the
Yes.
things that I coach is understanding or learning the character of the person is
Mm-hmm.
going to bring that chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And we miss a lot because of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you heard what I said. Oftentimes we miss a really good match
Mm-hmm.
because we're so concerned about the chemistry
Mm-hmm.
and not
Mm-hmm.
really what the character of the person is. And
Right.
that's one of the things I just briefly brought up on Sunday, and not because I am here as a morality monitor or coach,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but the longer that you separate or the longer you go without that physical attachment,
Mm-hmm.
the more you really get an emotional attachment
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah,
you're
one of the things too that we talked about Wednesday
Mhm.
was thinking of all those butterflies in your stomach. Oh, you get butterflies in your stomach, and oh, this is one, this is chemistry. Sometimes it's your nervous system going off with alarm. They're not butterflies. It's that nervous system, and that is data too. Data also comes from us. And so, understanding us, I always say self discovery is the best recovery. The more you discover about you, the better you're able to recover from the things that you used to do that has not been working, that's from the old playbook. And sometimes we have to look at our own selves, look at our emotions, look at how am I feeling? Is my stomach feeling jittery? Is my hair sticking up on my arm? Like, what is happening in my body that is telling us, hey, uh, warning, 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 warning.
And sometimes it is. They just fun, fit, and fine.
Mhm.
But
Fun,
that
fit, and
doesn't
fine.
sometimes that's what they are, but that doesn't mean they have the character that you're really looking for
Yep,
that's gonna sustain a relationship.
yep, 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 yep. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, listen. Any questions? I want to make sure that we had some questions last week. We did not talk about. So if anybody has any here, please pop it in the chat. Uh, Hello, all the way. Someone says friends in Atlanta, Dallas, Jacksonville, Lufkin. Yes, all those places. Los Angeles, Chicago, and San Diego. Yes, yes.
So
Hello,
Tamika
hello, hello.
asked about the text. And
Yes.
so as I'm coaching clients, I do have some because some people aren't comfortable with just, I meet someone online, I meet someone in person, we have a couple of conversations, and it's just not a match. It's something I can tell we don't have something in common. I don't need to waste any more of my time or their time.
Mhm,
Some
mhm,
people want to not just step away and not call anymore. They feel it's ghosting. I don't. I'm very comfortable with just not calling or
mhm,
not answering if someone calls.
mhm, mhm,
And so I have just a nice, friendly text. And so I share that with my clients. Just I have two or three different ones depending on the situation that
mhm,
you use. So that's what the text is.
mhm. Yes, yes,
That
yes.
Kathy talks about all the time. It's just a nice, clean one. And oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, the person just usually says, "It was really nice meeting you too. Good
Yep,
luck for your search."
yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. Welcome, my neighbor. We just had a great time in the hot tub. I see she is on. Thank you so much for joining us. We have so many new people. Share this information. It's great information. Uh, and Demi, you were going to talk about Wednesday.
Yes. So we are here Fridays at 7 for the month of March, and moving forward, we're going to be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure and send you all reminders and put it out. But we'll be here Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Excited too, because this month, our whole topic is going to be about
Yes.
dating differently with a different playbook, right? The
Yes.
old
Yes.
dating is
Yes.
not here any longer.
Yeah, so we will start on Wednesday. Let me tell you why. So we popped on Wednesdays a couple of times, just to pop on and say, "Hey, we were excited talking about Friday topic," and we popped on a Wednesday, and people were just popping on like crazy on Wednesday. So we were like, just like we talk about gathering information and everything is data, we do it with everything. So we're looking at the numbers of the people that was popping on Wednesday when we just popped on a couple of times.
Yeah.
That's data. That's information. So just like we say, when you gather information, you have to switch. When we gather information, it's worth a switch. It's worth a switch. So we will be on Wednesdays. We're going to send you guys out reminders to join us next Wednesday instead of on Friday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Dr. Conti.
Yes. Yes. So we are, again, I am super glad to be here. I'm Dr. Conti Terrell. This is Demi. And I just love it, love it, love it to come to you all every week because this has been so great. And what we do when we come to you all, we want to make sure that you are loving from a healed place. So look at all of our links. You can get all of us, both of us, and all of our information, all of our where we are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that. And we have a Dating Differently page. So please feel comfortable to inbox us so that we can invite you over to the Dating Differently page and all of that great information so that we can continue to help you date with clarity, move with intention, and date differently.
So excited. So we're going to see you on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So good to be here. Good to all see you all.
All right. Y'all be blessed.
Bye-bye.